All right, nowadays people are much more cognizant of how stress and anxiety impact their lives. They're dealing with more sleepless nights, and it's not something that's enjoyable. Well, that's where today's video sponsor, Real Living Markets, is here to help. They have a natural hemp farm, and they do CBD oil and CBD rub. Now, the CBD oil is something, they've come in 3 different strengths. They have 300 milligram, 600 milligram, and extra strength, which is 1200 milligram. It's a little dropper in here. You take the drops, you put it under your tongue, and you will sleep like a baby. And I don't think you can appreciate how good a good night's sleep is and how much it impacts your life. But trust me, when you try it out, you're gonna love it. Also, this is the pain relief rub. So if you have something, you get banged up playing sports or something like that, you like to wrestle or do jujitsu on the side, this stuff is gonna make you feel a lot better. It's soothing, and you're gonna enjoy your life a lot more. To try them out, click the link in the description, Real Living Markets. And if you haven't tried CBD, it is different than THC. You cannot get high off of hemp. This is purely for your life becoming better and more enjoyable by relaxing you, reducing anxiety, and helping you sleep. So, and also making you feel better. So if that sounds interesting to you, click the link in the description, give them a try, and let me know what you think. All right, everybody, Rob Ferretti here, and I have saved myself some money. I rented from Sixt again in Italy for my staff car, and I'm starting to pick up good processes and bad processes. Now, I know renting cars, I've always taken the position that if somebody rents a car and damages it, they have to pay for it. But I want them to feel comfortable that they damaged it, because when you're renting a car, you are not an expert. You don't know what you're looking at. When you're like, look, do a walk around on the car and mark any damage. You don't know what you're looking for. These guys that are walking around all day looking for nicks and rock chips and dents and stuff that doesn't look right are doing this for a living. So you can't expect a customer to carry the burden that if they damage the car, they're responsible for it. And that's where Sixt screwed me a couple of years ago. When I was in Germany, I rented the M4. I damaged the wheel, and I know I damaged the wheel. I curbed it in the parking garage. I was in on the Autobahn doing 150 miles an hour. That's whatever, 270 kilometers an hour. No vibration. So that wheel was perfectly fine. I know it's $120, 150 euros, whatever you want to do to refinish it, but they insisted on charging me $1,800 for the wheel. And I was like, look, you can't do that. It's $200 to finish it. Let's not play games here. So ultimately, I said, look, if you're going to charge me 1,800 euros for the wheel, that's fine. I'll pay it. I'm not enjoying it, but I'll pay it. I will come get the wheel. I will get the wheel refinished, and I'll sell the wheel and recoup some of my costs. We don't do that. Why not? If you're charging me for something, what are you going to do with that thing? It's a common thing that a lot of shady companies do, and it sucks that it's like big companies that do it, that they look to make money on damage. Like they either want to sell you the insurance, and even the insurance, because I had insurance on the car, still has a deductible of $3,000. So they want to sell you insurance, which multiplies the cost of your rental, and then they want to get you for damage so they can overcharge you on damage and fix it for nothing or fix it for less. So when I got to Rome and I picked up this car also from Sixt, they marked this car, and I looked around, and this thing's got damage all over it. But it had 28 or 29 spots of damage marked already. The wheels were curbed. Just to be safe, I went around the car and took photos of it. So I pulled it right in front of their office, so you've got the orange paint on the ground, so there's no question with the timestamp and the orange paint that I was taking the photos at their location before I left. But it's really concerning the fact that the wheels were curbed up and everything like that. They're charging me for new wheels, right? This is another BMW with the wheels curbed, and they're delivering it like that. If you walk around, and I'll prove it, I'll walk around my shop right now just to prove a point. Let me walk around and show you my wheels and tires, which is very common, especially in the summer when the cars get more use, that the wheels are damaged. But you can walk around on all my cars. There's no damage. Like if there is damage, it generally gets fixed within a week. Aston Martin, Range Rover. I don't know why the Range Rover wheels always get damaged, but they're always repaired. And we could play this game all day. I can't do every car, but here, this has got to get fixed. That's one. This one's good. 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 So this is common damage. I can guarantee you all of these wheels probably get clipped once or twice each a year. You start adding it up on all the cars. It happens, but when I give somebody a car, I want that car to look new. I want that car to feel new, and one of the worst things that you can do to a car to make it feel beat up, even though it's not, is having damaged tires. But I mean, I can go through the whole fleet here, but obviously the point is made. You see this one? Somebody tagged this. That's 2 wheels out of 25 that I looked at. That's your sample size. If I charge somebody for a wheel, first off, if the wheel is fixable, I get it fixed. Second off, if the wheel is being charged, every week or two, I have those wheels refinished. So the cars that I'm giving to people are representative of what I want to give them. I'm giving them a good clean car. I'd like to get a good clean car back. If for some reason they damage it, I'm going to charge them what it costs to fix it, but then I'm going to spend that money and fix the car and not give somebody a car that's got 28 pieces of damage marked. So here I'm renting a car. I'm like, all right, it's already beat up already. Have at it. You can go damage the wheels. I don't really care because they're already screwed up. They can't possibly charge us for it. Well, I was wrong. We drove the car for a week. I came back and the woman's like, so there's 2 new spots of damage. I'm like, whoa, like no, there's not. I've got photos. And she's like, well, that's good. If you have photos, I'll put it in the notes, but this is new damage that we did not have in the system, and we had to mark it down. So I was like, well, I can't even just show you right here that it existed when I got it. No, they have to make the damage claim, and then they have to fight it. So now, here I am fighting a damage claim that if I didn't take photos, it would be my word versus them, and there's a very good chance they would just charge me for it. And I'm sure they get a lot of people like that. And that's not good business. It should be the burden of proof should be on the rental company to prove that you damaged the vehicle. And I know it's more difficult, but that's what they do for a living. That's their job to say, like, look, you damaged it. Here's photos. And if it's something where like, hey, you may not have a photo of this, but like I spilled a soda on the inside, sure, you can fess up to something like that and the buttons are sticky because you did that. But at the end of the day, if there's physical damage on the car, especially on the exterior, that's something that the rental company should be taking photos before and after so they can document whether or not it exists. Not if they screw up and they've got a guy who misses something on the check-in, it's now on me or the next customer to end up paying for something. Because a lot of people, anywhere you go, you park in a parking lot, you park in a garage, you valet the car. You don't walk around the car every time you get in and out of it to know, like, look, if there was damage on the side of the car, it's very possible it happened in a very tight parking garage somewhere in Europe. Somebody may have banged the door. I don't know because I'm not looking at the car every time I went in. But the fact that I was able to take photographs and go back and be like, right there, both existed. You're trying to put damage on me that was already there. It doesn't taste good, right? And especially with my previous experience with Sixt, that's why I was sure to take the photographs. The only difference is the last time I knew I damaged the wheel. This time I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't damage anything. And when I went back to the pictures, I was right. I didn't damage anything. The damage was pre-existing. And the other thing is that, and this is a tough thing in the industry, because like if there's a minor damage on the car, I'm still gonna rent it out, right? If it's like there's a door ding or something like that, I'll rent it out. But if somebody else gets a door ding or like if I'm repainting the front bumper, perfect example for my cars, the lower front bumper. And this is a really tough one because if somebody scrapes the lower front bumper, yes, it's a low car. I understand it's a low car, but I have to fix that. And if you scrape it, I don't want to charge you for a new bumper. I'm not charging you $5,000. I'm charging you to refinish that part of the bumper. But if it goes out and somebody else scratches it, like I got to charge them for that part of the bumper. However, it's only a couple $100. It's like, well, this part's going to be a couple hundred. This part's going to be a couple hundred. I'm not charging for a full bumper replacement. But also, if you scratch it where somebody else already scratched it, it's already there, like pre-existing. Yes, you made it worse, but I'm not going to charge you for that. Perfect example is the exotic cars we rented while we were in Italy. The rental company Prime Rent was great. Like the F8 Spider, right? This is one of their top of the line cars. One of the customers had it. He scraped or tore up the rear sub fin on the car, which happens if you get too close to a curb. It's a fairly common thing. And he did that. He scraped the front bumper and he like nicked a wheel and tire or something like that. And he scratched a mirror somewhere. So like he touched it all over. And he was like, you guys are going to screw me. They didn't charge him for the front bumper because it was already scraped underneath, which is very commendable. And then everything else was like $700. They're like, look, so we got the body shop estimate. It's 250 euros for the back there. It's 150 euros for the mirror, and the wheel and tire is like $300. So like the fact that this guy was like, oh, That's very fair. They didn't do what Sixt does. They didn't use the damage as a revenue generator. They used the damage to repair the car so they can then return the car to service and give the next customer the best possible experience. So to save yourself trouble, and you would think the Hertzes and the Avises and the Budgets and the Sixts, that these large companies have this under control. But if it's part of their business model to make money on damage, and clearly if you have a car that's got 30 pieces of damage on it, they're never fixing it, right? They're just waiting for that thing to get totaled or something, and they're just banging everybody every time. You've got 4 spots of damage on that door, and you're saying, I did one more, and you're gonna charge me? That door is probably paid for itself 6 times over. You've charged everybody for a new door or whatever the repair is. It's the same repair, whether there's 2 scratches or 3 scratches or 4 scratches, it's the same repair. So cover yourself, be sure whether you know what you're doing or not, be sure when you rent a car, and even if you take insurance, you don't take insurance because there may be a deductible, there may not be a deductible, make sure that you're out there and taking photos all around the car. I know it's frustrating to have to do, it clogs up your phone, you go back and you're like, what the hell are these? After your rental agreement's completed, you're good. I went and I challenged the damage on the car. When they said I damaged it, they acknowledged with my pictures that the damage was there. They closed out my rental agreement. So it's no harm, no foul, but I guarantee it would have played out differently had I not taken those photographs. And it was my word where it didn't even say the damage was pre-existing. I just don't have photos of it. It's, I don't know how the damage got there is one of their options in their form to address the fact that there's now new damage that they're documenting on the car. So that means, I don't know how it got there. Well, you're still responsible for it and we're going to bill you. And that's a problem. They've got your credit card. They've got a signed contract. Everything that they have, I'm sure, is very tried and true where they can go after you. Always try to use a credit card that has rental car insurance. So at least, especially with the BMW wheel, it was 1,800 euros, but my credit card picked it up. So it was easier to swallow, but it was still, I feel that they never fixed that wheel or didn't do anything with that wheel. Or if they did fix it, they spent 100 euros to fix it and refinish it. They didn't replace it, which is why they wouldn't give me the part. And that just feels dirty, right? You don't like to do it. I rent from them still because they're a big company, but you have to watch yourself. They've generally got a very good selection of cars, and otherwise the experience is pretty seamless. But this damage thing is something you have to watch out for across the board, especially when you get to the higher end cars. There's more of an opportunity for somebody to take more money out of your pocket that you're not expecting. And you'll generally find that when you think you're getting a good deal or something like that, that the companies are more prone to making up the money elsewhere. So even though you get the car for $300 a day instead of $700 a day, there's usually a way that they're gonna make their numbers the way they need to. Rob Ferretti, stay safe out there. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.